guys, Nyxarity here, and welcome to My Thought Mondays. Today I'm going to be talking to you about what it's like to be an adult. Most of this is not a very upbeat kind of information. Because let's face it, after your teenage years, you go away to college and you got some good years, and then you have to settle down, you have to figure out what you want to do with your life. And then you get to waste tons and tons and tons of money for a useless degree that doesn't even help you get a job anymore. Yay! Not really. So, of course, being an adult isn't all it's cracked up to be. You know, when you're a kid, you dream of, I'll finally be in charge of my own life, and I can do all the things that I want, and I can eat whatever I want. My mom won't tell me what to do, and I won't have to bring my jacket out every time I go outside. I miss those naive days. Now there's this beautiful thing that we like to call bills. Because you want to be able to have a roof over your head, you want to be able to eat, and unfortunately, as healthy as you'd like to eat now that you actually want those carrots and broccoli, it's a lot more expensive than ramen and macaroni and cheese. But, all of that aside, yeah, there's the bills. But, now you can buy what you want. You don't have anybody telling you have to buy these certain clothes, or you have to buy, this specific thing for whatever. And you, of course, have the beautiful excuse of when gift-giving holidays come around of, oh man, I had to pay my bills this year, man. Next year I'll buy you a drink. No, I have not actually used that excuse. But it would be a good one, because I do have a lot of bills. Because there's my beautiful car bill, and the credit card bills, because you're an adult and you needed things, but your paycheck's not in yet. Amazon has dug me into a deep hole. And I both appreciate and hate them for it. So, one piece of advice I would like to give anybody out there, whether you are a young adult coming into the wonderful world of bills for the first time, or a teenager, getting ready to be out of high school and going off on your own college. Party hard, but be smart about it. And also, treat any credit cards you may get like debit cards. If you don't understand what that means, let me just lay it out for you really quick. Debit cards take the money out automatically. It has to already be there for you to use it. Credit cards take money that you have credit for, thus the credit card. Credit is not the same as debit, because credit is the money that you don't have yet. And should certain horrible things happen, which I hope doesn't happen to any of you, but should certain things happen and you don't get your paycheck, you now have all of this money that you have to pay back, and you have no money to pay it back with. Which is why, unless I have to, for whatever reason, I try and treat my credit cards as if they were debit cards. Meaning, if I don't have the money currently, I will have it within the next, 2 days. Okay? And that's not a good way to live by it either. If you don't have the money, you shouldn't be spending it anyway. Just as a rule of thumb. But certain things happen. You're doing a college class or whatever, and your laptop breaks. You kinda need a new laptop. So, of course there are rules to smudge there, but as often as you can, make sure that you can pay it off either that day or have a plan to pay it off as soon as possible, because that way you won't have any surprise debt. So now I'm going to talk about the wonderful world of college. Yes, it is great for some people. Some people really like being in school. Personally, I think those people are crazy. Why would you want to do homework on a daily basis? Going to work is bad enough. Now, I am also a very creative-minded person. So, of course, I automatically don't like the 9-to-5 sitting at a desk type jobs. I mean, hell, I'm talking to you guys on YouTube. If that doesn't explain enough about my personality, I don't know what does. I have purple hair, guys. And wearing a purple shirt because brain said match. While I was going to college, I maybe took Saturdays just so that I had one day to myself to do whatever. But, I mean, you've got your reading that you have to do. Most teachers assign reading over the weekends because they want to start a new subject on Monday. Yeah. So, you've got to do that reading. You usually have multiple subjects that you're doing at a time. Unless you're doing, like, work full-time and you're doing, like, one class a quarter or a semester or whatever. Which is not the way that I recommend doing school if you want to do that. But again, different subject. Not to mention the fact that you're shelling out thousands of dollars if you're lucky. If you're not lucky, you're shelling out tens of thousands of dollars because you're paying for room and board on campus. And books. And tuition. Yeah, no, I don't like it. But, I mean, of course, it is one of those experiences that you're only going to get once in a lifetime. So, if you're not worried about the money, I fully recommend it. Even if it's just going to be to go waste a couple of years partying and drinking. Parents, you should have told your kids not to watch my channel if you're upset with this. Because, well, I swear a lot on this channel, so why are your children watching it anyway? Another awesome thing about being an adult, you can wear whatever you want. Which means, this was clean today. It was also clean yesterday. Did I wear it 2 days in a row? Hell yeah. Is anybody gonna judge me for it? Now that you know that I wore it 2 days in a row? Yeah, probably. Does it bother me? Absolutely not. It's a purple shirt. I have purple hair. Brain said match. I went with it. The wonderful world of aging. Only my mid-20s, guys. And my memory is bad. And of course, that's partially hereditary. But, it gets worse when I sit down in front of a camera to talk to you guys. I had all these bullet points ready to talk about what it's like to be an adult and my tips and tricks for surviving as an adult. And I sat down in front of the camera. It's gone. But, seriously though, it's not as bad as everybody makes it sound, and it's not nearly as good as everybody makes it sound. If you're making some good money, awesome. Most people out there aren't making enough money to survive. These days, people my age, in their mid-20s, have to have a roommate to be able to rent an apartment. They have to live with their parents until they're 30, which in American society is not a thing that's looked upon nicely. But in other cultures, of course, you know, you live with your family forever because your parents took care of you, so naturally you're gonna now take care of your parents now that you can. And, you know, yeah, it does feel kind of sucky sometimes having to live with my mom and my sister, mostly because I have to live with my sister. Mostly that. But, you know, it's also one of those where I don't have to worry as bad about me being able to make my rent. I don't have to worry as bad about where my next meal is going to come from. I don't have to worry so badly about if there's going to be heat. You know, those kinds of things. So I am very fortunate to be able to still live with my mom. There are people out there who aren't fortunate enough to do so, and aren't fortunate enough to have a roof over their heads. Which is heartbreaking, because in America, the land of opportunity, you'd think that there would be more opportunity. But instead, there's a lot of creativity squelching. If you want to do your hair a fun color, it's like a million times harder to get a job, even if, you know, you're... Okay, let me put this into perspective for you guys. I had an interview where I sat next to a guy waiting for the same interview who had full sleeves. I didn't have purple hair at the time, but I had a kind of a reddish kind of color that had a tint of like violet to it in certain lights. And of course in the interview I was asked, well, could you dye your hair before you start? And I was going, what do you mean? They're like, well, it doesn't really look professional because your hair color is not really natural. I'm sorry, does my resume speak for me not being able to handle customers appropriately? No, it's not that. We want the first appearance to be a professional one. Put this into perspective for you guys more. I was wearing glasses because I need them to see, and my hair was in a bun. I was wearing basically a pantsuit. I had what could be considered well, not a briefcase, but a bag that looked like it may have been modeled after a briefcase, which had like 3 to 4 copies of my resume in it, of which I handed to the 2 people that I was talking to. I'm not sure how I could have looked more professional, but to put it into perspective for you guys, the guy that had the full sleeves had gone in for his interview before me, and had come out filling out paperwork. I did not get that job. If a guy with full sleeves looks more professional than slightly purple tinted hair, I don't know what kind of a society we're living in. Because, I mean, unless I look like a straight out punk, I don't know how my hair color is gonna affect my professional look. I'll just let that sit with you guys, because that's what it's like to be an adult. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, or at least found it somewhat entertaining. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, go ahead and leave a like. Go ahead and subscribe for more great content. This is Nyxarity signing off. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Hey, Emily's actually alive! And here!